The text message from Mum came on a Tuesday morning, right as I was helping Lucy tie her shoes for school. Need to talk, honey. Call when you can. My name is Amber, and that message was the beginning of the end. Or maybe it was the beginning of something else entirely. I just didn't know it yet. I called Mom back from the car after dropping the kids off, my coffee getting cold in the cup holder. Her voice had that sugary sweetness that always meant bad news was coming. "Sweetheart, I've been crunching numbers for the annual lake trip," she started, "and with everything being so expensive these days, well, we just can't swing it this year. Not with all the extras." My throat tightened. Extras? You know, honey, the additional rooms, extra meals. It adds up. The extras were my children. My 10-year-old son, Braden, and 7-year-old daughter, Lucy, had suddenly become line items on a budget spreadsheet. "I can chip in more," I offered, hating how desperate I sounded. "The business is doing better now." "Oh no, we couldn't ask that of you," Mom cut in quickly. "Besides, Edith already suggested we skip it altogether. Give everyone's wallet a break." Of course Edith suggested it. My perfect older sister, who never had to worry about money since marrying Bentley. "Right," I managed. "Thanks for letting me know." That evening, I had to tell the kids. Braden took it hardest. He'd been practicing casting with his new fishing rod for months. Lucy just asked if the fish would miss us, and somehow that hurt worse. "Next year," I promised them both. "We'll definitely go next year." 3 days later, I was mindlessly scrolling through Facebook when I saw it. My hand started shaking so bad I nearly dropped my phone. There was Edith, tagged in dozens of photos. "All aboard! Family. First Truck Cruise Life." The pictures showed everyone: Mum, Dad, Edith, Bentley, their kids, even our cousin Sarah, on the deck of a luxury cruise ship. I clicked through each photo like I was picking at a scab. There they were at the captain's dinner, dressed up and laughing. Another showed Dad teaching Edith's boys how to play shuffleboard, exactly like he used to teach me. My phone buzzed with a text from Sandra, my best friend. "Are you seeing this? Call me." I couldn't call. I could barely breathe. More photos kept coming over the next week. Pool parties, exotic ports, sunset dinners, each one tagged with nauseating hashtags like "Shush Blessed Family" and "Ha Making Memories." Finally, I got a voicemail from Mum. "Having such a wonderful time, sweetie. The ship is gorgeous. Wish you could see it. Maybe next time when things aren't so tight, right?" That night, after putting the kids to bed, I sat on my back porch with a glass of wine. The summer air was thick with humidity and the sound of crickets. I pulled up the last family photo I had from the lake, taken the previous summer. Everyone smiling, the water gleaming behind us. I was standing slightly apart, as usual, holding Lucy on my hip. My phone lit up with another cruise photo. This time it was Edith's latest post. Nothing better than quality time with the ones who matter most. Jasher family vacation. The ones who matter most. I walked inside and found Braden's fishing rod propped in the corner, still new and unused. Beside it was Lucy's lake journal, where she drew pictures of the fish she wanted to catch next time. The wine glass shook in my hand as 17 years of being the family afterthought crashed over me at once. The constant comparisons to Edith, the subtle digs about my divorce, the way they'd slowly pushed me to the edges of every family photo, every holiday, every memory. They hadn't cancelled the summer trip because of money. They'd cancelled me. I opened my laptop and pulled up the business plan for Navitrack, my fledgling tech startup. The investor meeting was in 2 days. Until now, I'd been nervous about it. Suddenly, I felt nothing but cold determination. My phone buzzed again. Another cruise photo. I turned it face down without looking. "I promise," I whispered to my sleeping children down the hall. "We will never be left behind again." I just didn't know then exactly how I'd keep that promise, or what it would cost us all. "They're ready for you, Ms. Thomas." Willow's voice snapped me back to reality. I was standing in the gleaming lobby of Venture Capital Partners, gripping my presentation folder so hard my knuckles had turned white. "How do I look?" I whispered. Willow, my brilliant 28-year-old business partner, straightened my blazer. Like someone about to change the world. Or at least keep kids safer in it. The boardroom was intimidating, all glass and chrome and serious faces. I set up my prototype of Navitrack, our child safety wearable, on the table. My hands were steady now. They had to be. 3 years ago, I began. My son got lost at a crowded mall. For 17 minutes, I couldn't find him. Those were the longest 17 minutes of my life. The investors leaned forward slightly. I had their attention. That's when I realized existing GPS trackers for kids were bulky, obvious, and easy to remove. So I created this. I held up our sleek bracelet design. Waterproof, tamper-proof, and disguised as a fashion accessory kids actually want to wear. Questions flew. Market size, competition, manufacturing costs. I answered each one with the precision of someone who'd rehearsed in front of their bathroom mirror for months. Impressive, said the lead investor, examining our prototype. But why you? What makes you the one to bring this to market? Before I could answer, my phone buzzed. A text from Edith. Mum's birthday dinner Saturday. Bentley's booking that new French place downtown. $200 per person. You in? I silenced my phone and looked straight at the investor. Because I'm a mother who understands what parents fear most. And I'm stubborn enough to solve problems others ignore. 2 hours later, Willow and I stood in the parking lot, still in shock. $5 million, she kept repeating. They're giving us $5 million. I hugged her, both of us laughing and crying. We did it! We actually did it! That night, I took the kids to their favourite pizza place to celebrate. While they argued over toppings, I checked my emails. There was one from Sandra marked FWD Urgent Lake Property Inquiry. I opened it and froze. It was an email chain accidentally forwarded to Sandra's law firm. Bentley copying Edith and my parents, discussing booking the entire Turner Pines resort for next summer. 8 weeks total, he wrote. Just our immediate family. More intimate that way. More intimate? Like the cruise. Another family vacation I wasn't meant to know about. Mom? Braden's voice pulled me back. Can we get extra cheese? I looked at my son's hopeful face, so much like his father's before the divorce turned bitter. Extra cheese, I agreed. And ice cream after. Later that night, I called Sandra. I was going to delete it, she said, but you needed to know. They're doing it again, I said, my voice flat, planning another family trip without us. After today's investment news? They'll regret that. Sandra paused. Speaking of which, have you told them? I thought about all the times Edith had flaunted her family's success. How Mom and Dad beamed at every achievement of hers while treating mine like pleasant surprises. No, I said, and I'm not going to. Not yet. What are you thinking? I walked to my home office and pulled up the Turner Pines website. The rustic cabins nestled against the lake shore, the dock where Dad taught us to fish, the fire pit where we used to make s'mores. Remember when we were kids, I said, and Edith would hide my toys, then pretend she had no idea where they were. Yeah? Well, I think it's time I learned to play that game too. I clicked on the Contact Us tab. Sandra, I need a favour. A big one. How much do you know about real estate acquisitions? Amber. Her tone was cautionary. What exactly are you planning? I thought about the cruise photos, the cancelled lake trip, years of being the family afterthought. Justice, I said simply, or maybe revenge. Is there really a difference? The website showed rental rates for the entire resort. The number was significant, but after today's investment, it might as well have been pocket change. Send me whatever paperwork I need to see, I told Sandra. And, Sandra, let's keep this between us for now. I hung up and opened my laptop to start researching property laws. Outside my window, the moon reflected off my neighbour's pool, reminding me of the lake's shimmer at night. Soon, I thought. Very soon. The gravel crunched under my tyres as I pulled into Turner Pines for the first time in months. The morning fog was just lifting off the lake, and the air smelled like pine needles and possibility. Freddie, the property manager, waited for me on the main office porch. He was exactly as Sandra had described. Weathered face, kind eyes, and a ring of keys that probably hadn't changed in 20 years. Ms. Thomas? He extended his hand. Freddie Valdez, thanks for making the drive out. Please, call me Amber. I followed him inside where a pot of coffee was brewing. I appreciate you meeting me on such short notice. Well, when a potential buyer wants to see the place. He poured us both coffee in ceramic mugs with faded lake designs. Though I admit I'm curious. We don't usually get interest in the whole property. I sipped my coffee, buying time. I heard there might be some long-term booking plans for next summer. Freddie nodded. Yeah, actually. Got a real estate agent, Bentley Little, trying to lock down 8 weeks for his family. Offering above rate too. Has he signed anything yet? Nah, just preliminary talks. Why? I pulled out the folder Sandra had prepared. Because I'd like to make an offer, not for a booking, for the entire resort. Freddie's eyebrows shot up. The whole thing? Every cabin, every dock, every pine needle. I slid the paperwork across his desk. And I can close within 30 days. He whistled low, studying the numbers. This is substantial. Mind if I ask why? Through the office window, I could see the lake sparkling. Memories flooded back, teaching Lucy to swim off the shallow dock. Braden's first caught fish, countless marshmallow sticky evenings around the fire pit. Let's just say I have history here, I replied. Good history I'd like to preserve. Freddie nodded slowly. The owners have been considering selling. Place needs updates they can't afford. He hesitated. But what about the existing bookings? Bentley's family. No contracts signed means no obligations. I met his eyes. And I'd like to keep you on as manager, Freddie, with a raise. He studied me for a long moment. There's more to this story, isn't there? There always is. I stood up. Show me around? We spent the next hour touring the property. The main lodge needed a new roof, and several cabins required modernizing. But the bones were good, strong, like me. Previous owners will want to move fast, Freddie said as we walked the main dock, before peak season planning starts. That works for me. I pulled out my phone and texted Sandra, "Make it happen." Just then, my phone lit up with a FaceTime call from Edith. I almost declined it, but curiosity won out. Amber! Her perfect smile filled the screen. I've missed you so much. Where are you? That looks like... Are you at a lake? Just checking out some property. I kept my voice neutral. What's up? Oh, I've been thinking about you. We all have. You should come visit next summer. We're planning this amazing family trip. Sorry, bad reception, I cut in, watching her face freeze in mock concern. I'll call you back. I ended the call and turned to Freddie, who was pretending not to listen. How soon can we start the paperwork? I'll call the owners now. He paused. You sure about this? I looked out over the lake, remembering all the times I'd watched Edith get the better cabin, the newer kayak, the most attention. Now I'd have them all. Absolutely sure. The next 3 weeks passed in a blur of contracts, inspections, and bank transfers. Sandra earned every penny of her legal fees, creating an LLC to hide my name from public records until the sale was final. Finally, on a crisp fall morning, I met Freddie outside the main lodge one last time, "Congratulations," he said, handing me the master keys. "She's all yours." "Thanks, Freddie." I weighed the keys in my hand. "Any word from Bentley about the summer booking?" "Left 3 messages yesterday. Should I call him back?" "No need." I smiled, remembering Edith's fake sweet FaceTime call. Let him keep trying. My phone buzzed. A text from Sandra. "Final, papers filed. You're officially the owner. Still want to go through with the rest of the plan?" I thought about my kids' faces when I'd had to tell them the lake trip was cancelled, about the cruise photos, about years of being the family afterthought. "Yes," I texted back. "Send the letters." Freddie was watching me curiously. "Ms. Thomas, Amber, whatever happens next, I'm guessing I should brace for some drama." I pocketed the keys and looked out at my lake, my cabins, my revenge. "Freddie," I said, "you have no idea." "The no trespassing orders are ready," Sandra said, spreading documents across my dining room table. "1 for Edith and Bentley, 1 for your parents, 1 for each of their kids over 18. I traced my finger over the legal language. "Will they hold up?" "They're ironclad. As property owner, you have every right to deny access." She hesitated. "But, Amber, once we serve these, there's no going back." Through the sliding glass doors, I could see Braden and Lucy playing in the backyard. They were drawing pictures of fish, planning for next summer. They just didn't know it yet. "Did you see Edith's latest Instagram post?" I pulled up my phone. "Can't wait for our magical summer at the lake. Just blessed family, just your traditions continue." Sandra grimaced. "She's really making this easy, isn't she?" "She always does." I signed the papers one by one. "When will they be served?" "Tomorrow night. They're all having dinner at that new French place downtown. My process server will catch them right as they're leaving." My phone buzzed. A text from Willow. "Big Tech magazine wants to interview you about Navitrack. They're calling you a rising star in child safety innovation." I showed Sandra the message. Perfect timing. "You're not going to tell them about the business success either?" "Not yet." I gathered the signed papers. Let them think I'm still struggling. It'll make this better. Later that evening, I drove out to the lake alone. Freddie had left the gate code under my name now. Owner access. The word still felt strange. I walked down to the main dock, remembering all the times I'd sat here as a kid, watching Edith get Dad's attention, Mum's praise, the best of everything. The water lapped quietly against the wooden posts. My phone lit up. Mum calling. I let it go to voicemail. "Honey, it's Mum. We missed you at my birthday dinner last week. Edith said she tried to reach you about it. Anyway, she's planning this wonderful summer trip for next year. I really hope you can make it work with your budget this time. We hate leaving you out." I deleted the message and dialed Freddie instead. "Everything okay?" he answered. "Has Bentley called again about the booking?" 3 more times today. Getting pretty aggressive about it. I smiled in the darkness. "Good. Keep dodging him." "Will do, boss." He paused. "By the way, that contractor came by to quote the cabin renovations. Want me to send you the estimate?" "Yes. I want everything updated by spring." I looked across the lake to where the most luxurious cabin sat, the one Edith always claimed. Especially cabin 7. After hanging up, I walked the property in the growing darkness. The fire pit where Dad taught Edith to make the perfect s'more while I watched from the sidelines. The shallow beach where Mum helped Edith's kids learn to swim, years after refusing to teach me. Sandra was waiting in my driveway when I got home. "Last chance to back out," she said, holding up the legal documents. "We can tear these up right now." I thought about the cruise photos, the cancelled trip, the years of subtle exclusion masked as concern about my situation. "Send them." She nodded slowly. "I'll have my guy text us when it's done tomorrow night." "Want company while we wait?" No, I hugged her quickly. I need to do this part alone. The next evening, I sat on my back porch with a glass of wine, watching the sunset and waiting. At 8:47, my phone buzzed with a text from Sandra's process server. Documents served to all parties. Complete success. I closed my eyes, imagining the scene. My family, walking out of their expensive dinner, being handed legal papers. Edith's perfect mask cracking. Mum's confusion. Dad's silence. Bentley's impotent anger. My phone started buzzing immediately. Calls from Mom, Dad, Edith, text messages piling up. What is this? Call us right now. Have you lost your mind? Answer your phone. I silenced them all and walked inside to check on my sleeping children. Lucy had left her lake journal open on her bed. New drawings of the fish she hoped to catch, the cabin she wanted to stay in. Soon, baby, I whispered, tucking her in. Very soon. Back on the porch, I pulled up the security camera feed Freddie had installed. The lake was silent, dark except for starlight on the water. My lake, my revenge. My phone lit up one last time. A text from Sandra. You okay? I watched a shooting star streak across the lake view on my screen. Never better, I replied, and for the first time in years, it wasn't a lie. Mum and Dad are coming over for dinner tonight, I told the kids at breakfast. I made peace offerings. Really? Braden looked up from his cereal. Grandma and Grandpa haven't visited in forever. I know, honey. I checked my phone. 17 missed calls since last night. That's why I invited them. I spent the afternoon cooking Dad's favourite pot roast and Mum's preferred apple pie. At 6:55 p.m, my phone rang. Mum's number. Amber, sweetheart. Her voice was strained. Something's come up. We can't make it tonight. I gripped the counter. Too busy? Your father isn't feeling well, and with everything that happened yesterday, maybe we should all take some time to cool off. Of course. I kept my voice steady. Feel better, Dad. I hung up and looked at the perfectly set table, at my children's expectant faces. They're not coming, are they? Braden asked quietly. Before I could answer, my phone buzzed with a notification. Freddie had sent me security camera footage from the lake. I clicked play. There they were. Mum, Dad, Edith, and Bentley, having what looked like a heated discussion on the main dock. Trespassing, despite the legal orders. Edith was gesturing wildly, Bentley pacing. I forwarded the video to Sandra with the message, "Options?" Her reply was instant. Police or private security? I watched my family arguing on my property, planning God knows what. Neither, I typed back. Not yet. Let them dig their hole deeper. My phone kept lighting up with messages. Edith had moved from texts to email. How dare you do this to our family after everything we've done for you? You ungrateful, spiteful little girl. You think you can just buy our memories, our traditions? You're pathetic. I screenshotted the email and saved it to a folder labelled evidence. The doorbell rang. I opened it to find a courier holding an envelope. Delivery from Mr. and Mrs. Little, he said. Inside was a formal letter from Bentley's law firm, threatening legal action for emotional distress and interference with family relations. I was still reading when Lucy tugged my sleeve. Mum, since Grandma and Grandpa aren't coming, can we have pizza instead? I looked at my daughter's innocent face, then at the legal threats in my hand. You know what? Yes, and ice cream. And we're eating in front of the TV. Later that night, after the kids were asleep, I got an anonymous letter in my email. The writing style was unmistakably Dad's. You've broken this family. Your mother can't stop crying. Is this what you wanted? To hurt us all? You're not the daughter we raised. I poured a glass of wine and typed back. You're right. I'm not the daughter you raised. I'm the one you ignored. Then I deleted it without sending. Instead, I called Willow. The magazine interview is tomorrow, she said. What's our angle? Success through adversity, I replied. Single mum overcomes obstacles to protect children everywhere. And Willow? Make sure to mention our company valuation. You're finally going public with the investment news? Time to show all my cards, I paused. Well, almost all of them. My phone buzzed. Another security alert from Freddie. This time showing Bentley examining the cabin locks, testing windows. Getting interesting over here, Freddie texted. Want me to confront them? No, I replied. Just keep recording. I walked to Braden's room and found him awake, looking at old lake photos on his phone. Hey, buddy, I sat on his bed. Want to hear a secret? He nodded. We're going to the lake this summer, all of us. His eyes lit up. Really? But I thought... Things have changed. I smoothed his hair. I promise you'll never miss another summer there. Does Aunt Edith know? Not yet. I kissed his forehead. But she will. Back in my room, I opened my laptop to find an email from Mum. Subject line. Please, read. Whatever we did to hurt you, we're sorry. But this revenge... It's beneath you, Amber. You're breaking your father's heart. Call us, please. I closed the laptop without replying and walked to my window. The night was clear. Stars bright, like they always were at the lake. My phone buzzed one last time. Sandra, you okay? This is getting intense. I thought about the dinner no one came to. The legal threats, the guilt trips, the trespassing. They think I'm breaking the family, I typed back. But you can't break what was already broken. You can only rebuild it on your terms. And these are your terms? I watched another shooting star streak across the sky. No, I replied. These are just the opening moves. Your sister just went nuclear, Sandra said, sending me a link. Check Facebook. Edith's post was already going viral in our local community. My own sister bought an entire lake resort out of spite, just to keep our family from making memories there. Some people let divorce and bitterness poison their souls. Pray for her. Bogus Toxic's family started to pray for healing. I was still reading the comments when Willow called. Have you seen the magazine article? It's trending! I switched tabs to the tech magazine's website. There it was, my face on the digital cover. Navitrack CEO revolutionizes child safety. How one mother's fear became a $50 million innovation. Perfect timing, I said, watching the article spread across LinkedIn. How's the stock price? Up 40% since opening. Willow paused. Your family's going to see this. That's the point. I posted the article to my own LinkedIn with a simple message. Success isn't about who believes in you. It's about believing in yourself. Proud to protect children everywhere. Der women in tech of perseverance. Within hours, my inbox was flooded. Old classmates, distant relatives, even my ex-husband, all suddenly remembering my existence. Then came the text from Dad. Just saw the news. Why didn't you tell us? We're your parents. I was composing a response when Braden walked in. Mum, can I ask you something? Always. Are we ever going back to the lake? I closed my laptop. Actually, I was thinking, how about this weekend? His eyes widened. Really? Really? Go tell your sister to pack. I texted Freddie. Coming up Friday with the kids and some friends. Then I called Sandra. Time for phase 2. Gather the troops. By Friday afternoon, the lake was alive with laughter. I'd invited everyone who'd supported me through the hard years. Sandra, Willow, my divorce support group, single mums from Lucy's school. Kids splashed in the water while adults grilled on the deck. This place is amazing, Willow said, watching Lucy learn to paddleboard from one of the mums. You should run summer programs here for single-parent families. Already working on it. I handed her a business plan. Starting next season. Sandra joined us, phone in hand. Heads up, Edith's post is getting attention. Local news wants to interview her about the family dispute. Let her talk. I watched Braden teaching his friend to fish. Truth has a way of coming out. Speaking of truth, Sandra nodded toward the gate. We've got company. A familiar car was pulling up the drive. Mum's silver SUV. Want me to call security? Freddie asked, appearing at my side. No. I stood up. I'll handle this. Mom got out looking smaller than I remembered, clutching her purse like a shield. Amber, her voice cracked. I saw the article, the business. Why didn't you tell us? Would it have changed anything? I kept my voice level. Would you have cancelled the cruise? Included us in the lake plans? We never meant to hurt you. Really? I gestured to the happy scene around us. Because this is what family looks like, Mum. These people showed up when you didn't. They celebrated my successes while you were busy celebrating Edith's. We were wrong, she whispered, but this revenge, buying the lake, it's not you. No, it's Edith. It's what she would do. I met her eyes. I learned from the best. Grandma. Lucy's voice cut through the tension as she ran up, dripping wet. Want to see me paddleboard? Mum's eyes filled with tears. I should go. Yes, you should. I picked up Lucy. Because you're trespassing. And unlike you, I actually mean it when I say family only. I turned away, carrying Lucy back to the water where her new friends waited. Amber, please, Mum called after me. Don't do this. Already done. I didn't look back. Tell Edith she can do all the interviews she wants. I've got nothing to hide anymore. That evening, after everyone left and the kids were asleep in their cabin, I sat on the main dock watching the sunset. My phone buzzed with a text from an unknown number. Bentley. This isn't over. You're not the only one with resources. I smiled and typed back. Actually, it is over. You just don't know it yet. Sandra joined me on the dock with 2 glasses of wine. Your mum's visit will add fuel to Edith's fire, she warned. Good. I took a sip. Let it burn. You know what happens next, right? I watched the last light fade from the lake, my lake, and thought about the next phase of the plan. Yeah, I said. The real fun begins. The local news van pulled up to Turner Pines just as I finished my morning coffee. Edith had finally gotten her interview, and she'd chosen to do it right at the lake's entrance. Perfect. They're here, Freddie texted. Want me to run them off? No, I replied. Let them set up, but keep recording. I watched from my office window as Edith positioned herself perfectly, the lake gleaming behind her. Mum and Dad stood off to the side, trying to look appropriately concerned for the cameras. My phone rang. Sandra. You watching this circus? Front row seat. Want me to send the cease and desist? Not yet. Let's see what she does first. The reporter was setting up when I walked outside, making my way casually to the dock. Right on cue, Edith spotted me. There she is! She pointed dramatically, her voice carrying across the water. The sister who stole our family's happiness. The camera swung toward me. I kept walking. Amber, the reporter hurried over. Care to comment on your sister's allegations? I turned, smiling my best CEO smile. Which allegations? The ones about me being bitter and toxic? Or the ones about me stealing happiness? You know exactly what you did. Edith stormed over, Mum trailing behind her. You bought this place just to hurt us. Actually, I pulled out my phone. I bought it as an investment, part of Navitrack's community outreach program. We're converting it into a summer camp for children of single parents. The reporter's eyes lit up. The child safety company that just hit the NASDAQ? The same. I met Edith's gaze. We're starting renovations next week. In fact, I should thank my family. If they hadn't excluded me from their plans, I might never have seen the property's potential. That's a lie! Edith's perfect mask was cracking. You did this for revenge! Honey, Mum reached for her arm. Maybe we should... No! Edith jerked away. She's trying to rewrite history. We never excluded her. She couldn't afford... The cruise, I finished quietly. Funny how that worked out while you were all claiming financial hardship. The reporter was scribbling frantically. Or maybe, I continued, you meant the summer booking Bentley tried to make. The one where he specifically requested that no other families be allowed on the property during your stay. Dad stepped forward finally. Amber, please. This isn't how our family handles things. No, our family handles things by pretending they're not happening, by letting Edith make all the decisions, by treating me like an inconvenience since the day I was born. That's not true. Mum's voice broke. Really? I pulled up photos on my phone. Should we go through these? The cruise pictures, the family-only dinners I wasn't invited to, the... Enough! Edith lunged forward, trying to grab my phone. The camera caught everything. Mrs. Little, the reporter called out, are you attempting to assault your sister on her private property? Edith froze, realizing what she'd done. Her perfect image shattered on camera. This interview is over, Bentley appeared, trying to salvage the situation. We'll be pursuing legal action. No, I cut in. You won't, because if you do, I'll countersue for harassment, trespassing, and attempted assault, all of which I have on video. I gestured to Freddie's security cameras. And, unlike you, I can afford a very long legal battle. The silence was deafening. Now, I continued, you're all trespassing. Again. So either leave voluntarily, or I'll have you escorted out. Your choice. You've destroyed this family, Edith spat. No, Edith, you did that. I'm just done pretending it never happened. I turned to the reporter. If you'd like a real story, I'd be happy to show you our plans for the summer camp. We're partnering with several domestic violence shelters to provide safe vacations for families in transition. As security led my family away, Mum looked back one last time. Was it worth it? She asked softly. Hurting us like this? I watched them go. The people who had shaped my whole life with their subtle cruelties and casual exclusions. Yes, I said, but they were already too far away to hear. Later that night, alone on the dock, I finally let the tears come. Not for them, but for the little girl who had spent years believing she deserved less, who had watched from the sidelines as Edith got everything. My phone lit up, Sandra checking in. You okay? I wiped my eyes and looked out over my lake, where tomorrow my kids would swim and laugh and make new memories. No, I typed back honestly, but I will be. And for the first time in my life, that felt like enough. Mum! Mum! I caught one. Braden's voice echoed across the lake as he held up his fishing rod, a small bass thrashing at the end of the line. I rushed to help him reel it in, showing him how to hold the fish for a quick photo before releasing it back into the water. His grin was brighter than the summer sun overhead. Just like you taught me, he said proudly. Just like I taught you, I agreed, remembering all the times I'd watched Dad teach Edith's kids instead of mine. Lucy came running down the dock, waving a letter. Mail came! I recognised Mum's handwriting immediately. This was the third letter she'd sent since the news interview went viral. I'd burned the first two without reading them. Want me to get rid of it? Sandra asked, appearing beside me with coffee. No. I tucked it into my pocket. Not this time. The lake was alive with activity. Our first group of single-parent families had arrived yesterday. 5 mums with their kids, all getting a fresh start. Willow was teaching some of the children to kayak, while Freddie gave a fishing lesson to others. The reporter called again, Sandra said. The story about our summer program is getting national attention. Ellen wants you on her show. Let's do it. I watched a mother teaching her daughter to swim, remembering how I'd had to learn on my own. The more publicity, the better. Edith's gone quiet, Sandra added. No more social media posts, no more legal threats. She's licking her wounds, she'll be back. And when she is? I smiled. We'll be ready. That evening, after getting the kids settled in their cabin, I finally opened Mum's letter. Inside was a single photograph, me at age 7, sitting alone on this very dock, fishing rod in hand. Her note was simple. I found this while cleaning. I don't remember who took it, but I remember that day. You caught your first fish, and no one was there to see it. I'm sorry I wasn't there. I'm sorry for a lot of things. Deep thoughts? Willow joined me on the dock, handing me a glass of wine. Just ghosts, I replied, tucking the photo away. The renovation plans are finalised, she said. Construction starts next week. You sure about converting Cabin 7? Cabin 7, Edith's favourite, the one she'd always claimed first. Absolutely. It'll make a perfect community centre for the families. My phone buzzed, a text from Dad. Saw the news about the summer programme. You've built something good here. Wish we'd seen your strength sooner. I didn't reply, but I didn't delete it either. Lucy appeared in her pyjamas, clutching her lake journal. Can we make s'mores? Soon we were all gathered around the fire pit. My kids, Sandra, Willow, Freddie, and our guest families. The night air was thick with the smell of chocolate and wood smoke. Tell us a story, one of the children asked. I looked around the circle of faces lit by firelight. At my son, confident and kind. At my daughter, drawing new memories in her journal. At these families finding their way back to joy. Once, I began, there was a little girl who thought she didn't deserve nice things. Later, after everyone had gone to bed, Sandra found me still at the fire pit. You never answered my question, she said. Was it worth it? I thought about Edith's public meltdown, Mum's letters, Dad's text, the families now sleeping peacefully in cabins that once felt like forbidden territory. Look around, I said. We took something broken and made it into something beautiful. That's better than revenge. But you still got the revenge, Sandra grinned. That too. A shooting star streaked across the sky, and I remembered all the wishes I'd made on this lake as a child. Wishes to be included, to be enough, to be seen. Mom, Braden called from his cabin, can you tuck me in again? Coming, honey. I stood, brushing sand from my jeans. You know what the best revenge is, Sandra? What's that? Living well, and making sure no other child feels as alone as I did. I headed toward my son's voice, leaving the ghosts of my past where they belonged. Behind me, in the dark, while I walked toward the light of something better. Not an ending, but a beginning. And this time, I was writing the story.